to Shelf Help, a channel dedicated to talking to the void about whatever book I happen to be reading. I'm your host, the reader. The following review will contain spoilers. Genesis 11, 1-9. Now the whole world had one language and common speech. As people moved eastward, they found the plains of Shinear and settled there. They said to each other, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used bricks instead of stone, and tar for mortar. They said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city, with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to see the city, and the tower the people were building. The Lord said, "If, as one people speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language, so they will not understand each other." So the Lord scattered them from there all over the earth, and they stopped building the city. That is why it was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world, and there the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth. 1887 France is home to the Order of Babel. It is said that after God destroyed the Tower of Babel, He scattered some of the fragments around the world. These fragments gave people the power to forge, the manipulation of mind or matter in various effects. The Order has charged itself with protection of the fragments and protection and regulation of all forged objects. But this is Europe in the 1800s. Protection and regulation is just a polite way to say colonization and theft. Because if you aren't white, you don't know the value of gold or how to use your own magic. Why yes, this book is throwing all of the shade at the colonizers. Let's not pretend they don't deserve it. Once there were 4 houses in the Order of Babel's French division, but now there are only 2. One was the Fallen House, that had all its members executed or memory wiped for trying to awaken the Babel fragment and become gods. The other is the House Banff, of which Severin is the only known member and presumed heir. Or he was. When his father, the House Patriarch, and his mother, an Egyptian immigrant, are killed in a fire, he undergoes the trial to inherit the house and all the magical items therein. This is done by cutting open his palm with the house ring. If it glows blue, he's the heir. If it doesn't, all he gets is a scar and a trust fund. The problem, according to Severin, is Hypno, the heir to House Nyx. Hypno's mother was Haitian, and, well, House Nyx's patron died first, and the Order of Babel can't have 2 of the 3 houses led by non-white patriarchs. It just wouldn't be proper. They might object to all the colonizing and pillaging. So when it came time for Severin's inheritance test, he fails, and he's packed off to the first of his foster homes. Here he meets Tristan, sweet, kind, naive Tristan. About the same age as Severin, the only clue to who he is the scar across his palm, just like Severin's. They forge a bond like brothers under the dubious care of the father Severin names Wrath. Incidentally, Severin and Tristan move through a series of 7 foster homes in their lives, each given the titular nickname of a deadly sin. Severin killed at least one of them, maybe more. Wrath's favorite pastime was strapping the boys to a forged device called a Phobos helmet, which tortured them with their own nightmares. He did not care which boy he tortured, and Severin took the brunt of the abuse, promising to protect Tristan. As an adult, Severin took his trust fund and opened the hotel he named La Eden. Its prime attraction is the 7 Sins Garden, full of forged plants created by Tristan. Adult Tristan is very similar to Tristan as a child. Despite his enormous natural talent for forging plants, he has no ambition to be anything more. Even his friends treat him like a child. Severin protects him, Layla coddles him, Enrique and Sophia teach him. Also, I love that he is completely committed to his creepy spider pet, wanting everyone to be its friend. But Severin and Tristan are kind of the least interesting characters here. Enrique is the third son of a Filipino mother and a Spanish father. At this point, Spain has colonized the Philippines for about 300 years. He strongly favors his father, which for most of his life has been a benefit. But in France, he's still a person of color. And there's a group he desperately wants to join that is trying to free the Philippines from Spain. But they find him too European-looking to help their cause. That's the curse of passing. He's also bisexual and struggles with crushing on his coworkers. Enrique is the team historian, speaking multiple languages and having a working knowledge of many ancient cultures. He is also very defensive about the artifacts he studies, probably because the others have a tendency to break them and to get the magic goodies inside. His counterpart is Sophia, as brilliant with forging metal and fire as Tristan is with plants. She's very good at making things go boom. She's also platinum-haired, blue-eyed, and Jewish, in 1800s France. But more than anything else, she stands out for being on the autism spectrum. Now, I don't have enough academic knowledge to be more specific. Autism, being a spectrum, means that not every person experiences every symptom or to the same degree. Sophia is an example of autism, not the example. In Sophia's case, she's very good at science and math, and anything that can be put into neat little quantifiable boxes. She likes order and organization, and perfectly round cookies. People and conversations are hard. People don't always say what they mean or mean what they say. Jokes are a labyrinthine mystery. Feelings and facial expressions are just right out. It is these features, her physical appearance, and her exceptional forging skills that made her a target at school. Other students trapped her in the lab, tortured her until she had a meltdown, and literally blew up the lab, resulting in her being expelled, but none of the students who caused her meltdown to suffer any consequences. Layla is from India, and I'm not going to tell you any more about her past than that. It's important to her story. Suffice to say, she needs a book stolen by the Order, or she is going to die. She's pretty sure, anyway. She's stunningly beautiful, an excellent dancer, an extraordinary baker, and she can read the history of any item she touches so long as it isn't forged. Which is a very useful talent. Simply brush a hand on someone's sleeve and see everything they have done and places they have been while wearing those clothes. Together, they are stealing artifacts from the Order in hopes of putting Severin back as Patriarch. But when they steal from the Patriarch of the House Nyx, Severin is presented with an offer he can't refuse. To be fair, Hypno could not afford to have them refuse either. And he makes up for it. This is a story about those on the outside, looking in. The world is run by people who are rich and white, and if you aren't both of those things, you can get out of the way or be run over. All of these people need each other to get by in the world. None of them set out to be heroes. They aren't looking to change the world, just to get by and improve their small corner. Somewhat unsurprisingly, Tristan, the naturally talented white man, is the only one who really thinks life is great as it is. Don't get me wrong, I love Tristan as a character. He is very endearing. But there's something completely on the nose about the fact that he lives and works with people and can't see their point of view. Anyway, Hypno wants them to steal a Horus's eye, an artifact that allows the holder to see the Babel fragment. Or at least that's the story. I love a good heist story. There's so much planning, so much talent, all ready to go very, very wrong, because it's less interesting if it goes right. Needless to say, Hypno isn't the only one who wants the Horus's eye, and the other party has far less benign intent. But I don't want to give away the climax here. Really, this is a story about found family. While all these people, minus Hypno, have been working together for years, they only just now come together as more than a team. In fact, Enrique and Sophia almost never spoke outside of meeting prior to this story. As the story progresses, they work together to solve puzzles and find they aren't that different, even finding each other attractive. It's such a cute dance. Add in Hypno flirting with both, and it's all sorts of adorable. One aspect that I really like is that this book shows the puzzles, not just describes them. Not only is this very helpful for those of us who are visual learners, it gave me a chance to look over the puzzle and try to solve it ahead of the characters. I didn't succeed, but I got the chance to try, and that was the point. I'm going to put this on my second shelf. The end kind of loses me a bit because a lot of the teamwork breaks down, but I understand why that is happening, because of course that sets us up for rebuilding in the next book. Thank you for your time. I know everyone's mileage will vary. Feel free to leave your thoughts.